You may wonder, I'm Rick Harsch, probably if you've watched any of these before. If you don't, I'm Rick Harsch, chief editor of Corona Samizdat, and probably one of the 50 best Corona Samizdat authors. We mustn't forget that. Behind me are a lot of my books, but I'm not an egomaniac, so my favorite book cover is of one of my books is on a book that's in Moby Dick, which I'm pointing to and you can't see, but it's an empty Moby Dick, like a smuggler's Bible, not to make a literary reference to anyone that Zach Tanner spit in. The book of, there's a preposition ending a sentence, fuck it, fuck of. I don't know if it's a preposition, I don't think it is. So where are we now? I'm introducing this in a slapdash sort of way because today we're doing what we've been thinking of doing it for a long time, a Pardcast. Because we're partners and we're Pards, myself and our cameraman, sometimes director, and documentary filmmaker, Saša Munjiza. But the way we want to do it, we like the kinds of radio shows, podcasts, whatever, where you have one guy, which would be me, who's on the camera, and the other guy has the disembodied voice. I love that effect. You see, we've done it occasionally. Like recently, we were testing some certain what kind of
anamorphic lenses.
Anamorphic lenses, right? So we just did it like that, and I don't know if you can hear him, but
they can hear me.
I can repeat it anyway. So it works really well, and this is a day where we decided to do this because of two things. We do have something to announce, but I didn't have to do it today. From the press, Corona Samizdat Press, there is an announcement coming. But first, the violence is, every day, the perversion of the human world gets worse as Israel goes about its fucking maniacal, ugly, horrific, worse than Nazi behaviors. Today was Yemen. A couple days ago, I think, was Tunis and Qatar. Everybody says, so a lot of people say Qatar. I used to say Qatar, but apparently it's Qatar. So, and it's easier to say Qatar, but it just sounds shitty to me. I don't do that. So Qatar, bless you. So that they're going berserk, and then today, or was it yesterday? It was yesterday. There was the assassination of the right-wing U.S. Pro-firearm, idiot, lunatic, Trump-supporting asshole. Not to say I don't miss him. He wasn't much a part of my life. But like the guy Luigi killed, don't miss him. Don't miss him, even though I didn't know him, and of course I don't miss him. Am I glad he's gone? Yeah, now that I know more about him. Same with this guy. I could have coexisted with him at this distance. But yeah, so he was killed. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the general state of things. And the best way to talk about a lot of things is through someone else's voice. I've already read this, but has it ever been more timely? Dirk Huelstrunk. This is the book I talked about a week ago, and we have the German and English versions of this guy's poetry and a performance that he gave and an interview and so on that our docu guy Saša took care of, and which will be included with the book for 15 euros, you get a gorgeous book and a DVD. But right now, what you're going to get is one of those moments where things just work. Things are the world is trying the last gasp of this earth, of the earth with humans on it. It'll start breathing better when the humans are gone. You know, if you could imagine it pulsing like this, you know, that's a beautiful thing to imagine the earth from a distance, like say from the fake moon landing that Stanley Kubrick filmed. Am I a conspiracy theorist? Nah, but you know, it seemed like a fun thing to say. From that distance, it's going to be beautiful when the humans are gone, as George Carlin would have it, sort of like fleas. You know, like the earth is. You know, he was one of his famous bits. He was talking about environmentalism. You know, it's not like he was a reactionary or anything, but he was using it to make a point. The arrogance of human beings talking about saving the planet. And he was saying the planet's not in danger. The people are. You know, and the earth is just going to, you know, be like a minor annoyance that it's going to shrug off. Well, this is all heading towards that moment, the moment we are at in our historical time. And yet, there little things come up, humanitarian flotillas that fight against it, Luigi's that kill murderous insurance executives. And in this case, a poet, Dirk Huelstrunk, who didn't know that this was going to happen, one hopes, that Charlie Kirk, that piece of shit, was going to get a piece of shot. Well, so here's a poem by Dirk Huelstrunk that seems to be just for that. We just published it, what fucking timing, you know. And so he's a sound poet. If you missed it, he's a loop poet. If you missed it, go back and look at it. I'm not going to talk about it again. I don't really talk about it well anyway. So Dirk Huelstrunk, his poem in German, it's called Noch eine. One more. One assassination. Just one assassination. One assassination. Only one more assassination. Another assassination. And one more assassination. Another assassination. And one more assassination. One more assassination. And another assassination. One more assassination and another assassination. Just one assassination. Just one more assassination. And one more final assassination. Just one more, believe me, and everything will be fine again. And I didn't mention the assassinations in Qatar. The people that supposedly and probably the Hamas negotiators that the Israelis were going after, they didn't get them. They got the son of one of them, and they got a bunch of others. And that's a whole thing that, you know, we could be talking about. But before we do, this is a podcast, so there's no telling where it's going to go. It might just stop at some point. I'll just stop talking and look stupid, and Saša will alertly turn off the camera. But not yet, because we have to announce that we're doing an urgent book. I use the word urgent, not because our book is going to do anything, but it's just time. It's time to fucking do it. You know, it's urgent. We got to get it done before the war ends in Gaza. We're going to do a book. It's going to be called Poetry and Invective for Gaza. And we're just going to put it together as quickly as we can. We have some good people in mind and some bad, and one of them is me. I have some good stuff from my book, Rick and Jack in Croatia. There are several good pages, and I will take excerpts and put them in, and we'll have excerpts from other people. We'll have poems from Roberto Segroff, and we're going to have one poem from me, and I'm going to read it to you right now. Alan Dershowitz kept his undies on. That's the title, and it's also the first line. So I'm going to say it again because it just sounds so good in my mouth. It tastes good. Even though Alan Dershowitz is in it, it tastes good because meaning has a certain. You don't call it redolence when it's taste, but it is a redolence of sorts. Alan Dershowitz kept his undies on when he got his massages from Epstein's Zionist fundraisers, those sluts. Sluts after sluts. After sluts. Before sluts. Deployed after the obscenity of Dershowitz's cock. Sluts splayed like quadcopters. Buzzing like drones, Dershowitz. Ass-riding the field morgue fridge. Co-droning like buzzards over the Rafid live corpse of craggy Onano Dershowitz in his safe zone undies and deep corridors patrolled by Zionist locusts. Ham ass, the sluts laughed. And it was funny. Ham ass Dershowitz. I laugh still. I laugh after 700 days as I have yet to convert my Dershow disgust into a soteriology for Palestine, nor pull a literal pistol and plug the putz, so bereft as I am left as love of pre-industrial man. Hamas cracks me up. Yet another crack al-Mawasi safe zone sniper. Al, yeah, I get it, dull motherfucker. Nowhere in Dershow's Hamas is safe. Page turn. Swelling to innuendo, the island sluts laugh to this day. For what else when time sides with your enemy? When left. What left? What left when all starved the starving, yet to be starved dead? Not yet starved for, starve another day. Death stinks, precede starve death. Yet not as malodorous as a ham-ass fart. Zesty, putrefactional, historyless Zionist, quad-crashing, kid-sniping, quaffable, laughable, affable Dershowitz night of long-knife dreams, soul flow but for solo flowing, furiously laboring at stains, eternal like ham-ass undies, Alan Dershowitz can never remove, inured. Somebody's got to clap. No, you don't have to do it. You know.
That might get you sued by Alan Dershowitz.
Yeah,
he likes
okay.
to sue people.
Here we moved immediately into Pardcast. I was talking to someone today, I don't remember who it was, but someone who had the immediate reaction that I've always had to Dershowitz. And, just absolute disgust. He's such a sleazy motherfucker. It's really funny watching him, Sasha, when he's on like Piers Morgan, and this stuff comes up with Epstein, no, I sued. No, I didn't mean sued. I paid off. No, I didn't pay off. She retracted it. The guy was on the island many times, and that's how it came up. He actually was
with his undies on.
Yeah, he actually said it. He actually said he kept his undies on. Sue me, Al. Sue me, please. God, I could use the publicity. And, a new pair of undies, because I would shit if you sued me. Not from fear, but just that laughter that makes every muscle in your body contract towards the belly button, and something has to give, and it's usually all the shit that's left. So, I would be ham-ass dirty. I hope it's clear that Hamas and Hamas are the joke there. And I'm not making a joke at the expense of Hamas. They are fucking heroes, in my view. Watch Electronic Intifada if you don't understand why I might say that. Or read a little history and study sociological effects of occupation on, I'm looking at you. Eye contact.
Yeah.
Make eye contact. Yeah. Pardcast. It's at first. We're We're peasants. We're peasants. We're in ex-Yugoslavia. Peasants. There's a peasant singing right now. It drives me fucking crazy, because his voice, no pun intended, drones. You know, there's a sort of Yugo voice. You know, like
Like nostalgia,
no, but no Yugo voice. You know, like the Balashevitz.
yeah.
And Meth has the same kind of voice. It's kind of
Bayaga. Do you know Bayaga?
yeah, Bayaga. They have this voice that's rough and yet, you know, they are melodic when they need to be. They can sing beautiful stuff, but it's that Yugo voice. This guy is just like maybe every podcast should have some talk about
Local musicians.
local musicians. Yeah. I'll finish my next sentence, okay? I mean, that was a good one. You were wrong. It wasn't local music. Every podcast should have a conspiracy. And this is not a conspiracy, the one I'm about to mention. Robert Kennedy Jr., we can't say, I don't know, I put a vaccine up my ass and I ended up vomiting out of my mouth for a week. That's what started that's my Robert Kennedy voice. How was it? 1 to 10.
It was 1 to 10. I would say a good 7.
Okay, that's great for me. A great 7. So, interestingly, when I look at the microphone, there are these little, like, magnet things on the side, and they look like flop ears. And it's a really, really freaky thing. If I had a camera, I'd shoot the camera.
Earrings.
I mean, it's too late to shoot that fucking executive. It's not too late to shoot Habibi. No, not Habibi, but Bibi. Guess what? I have a gun behind. It's not too late to shoot him. But Kirk is gone. The executive of the insurance company is gone. Anyway, so back to the conspiracy. It was presented as fact by an insider who's written 4 separate books about Trump, and I've been listening to him a lot lately on podcasts, and he said, there is whatever the disease that Kennedy has that they say he has, so that they don't have to say what really is going on. So I'm in bad taste to make fun of his voice. Well, not anymore, because I'm going to tell you the truth, because I think what the guy told people on his podcast was the truth. And that is, he was a crack addict. That's a crack voice. It's dead serious. Michael Wolff is his name. But, it destroys the sound system, let's call it. And that's what's wrong with his voice. And this is something that everybody who's close to him knows. And, it's just somehow the media is so fucking weak in the United States. They're so afraid. They will not go where no woman or man has gone before. They will never go to the moon, and they don't have to. Although I don't know who would take Stanley Kubrick's place. They don't tell you about that when they talk about it, do they? Yeah, go to NASA. Anyway, can you tell me where I was? That might be helpful.
So
Pull your own weight here.
Yeah, so the Dershowitz and then the conspiracy about
Yeah,
Kennedy's
I thought crack voice.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go into the conspiracy about Qatar and and Trump,
about Qatar. Yeah,
but you
thanks for bringing that up.
yeah.
See, this is what's mostly, it's most useful about having your background pard. It's why you got to have a pard. And also, I'm not the kind of person who goes in front of the mirror and hangs around, and actually I've mentioned this before. I don't remember. I think maybe in one of our films. But what happens if I hang around too long in front of the mirror, and that's why I don't take so long brushing my teeth. I try to get it over with as fast as possible, because if I go 2 full minutes like you're supposed to, the person in the mirror is gone. It's just that guy fucking goes. So I'm not one of those people who really likes doing this kind of thing out of self-love. The only self-love I'm guilty of is in Rick and Jack in Croatia. Another plug for my own book, Hamas and Masturbation. What could be better? Yeah, and Zionism. Zionists. They're not masturbators. If a Zionist masturbated, this is going into our own territory here. If a Zionist masturbated, as much as I do in that book, is it autobiography? Might be. Yeah, it is. Anyway, if a Zionist masturbated, especially a settler, he'd just rip his own cock off and bleed to death. That's why we're starting a new promotion, and all the money from sales of poetry and invective for Gaza, all of the money is going to go towards masturbation, pro-masturbation videos for settlers. We're going to have it done in Hebrew. We're going to have it done in, what other language do they speak there? Russian?
Yiddish.
Yiddish. No, Yiddish is a beautiful language that should never be associated with Zionism.
Yeah.
That's the prison language of Russia, Odessa. You can pogrom a Jew, but you can't pogrom a language. The Yiddish is still the prison language of Russia. That's the kind of tenacity that makes of asses those who talk about anti-Semitism. What a crock of shit. Did we talk about that before? I think we did, right?
Yeah. In the anamorphic one.
Yeah, but that one, we didn't talk a lot about anti-Semitism. It's clear that is just...
And blood libel.
Yeah, blood libel. But anti-Semitism is an anachronism. And so every time a Zionist brings up anti-Semitism, he's just digging his own fucking grave. So it's a good thing to talk about anti-Semitism, because it's more self-loathing Jews. That's another thing they like to talk about. Self-hating Jew. Who could be more self-hating than a Zionist? There's no way that those fucking lunatics are going to survive unless they kill everybody else. And that, by the way, final conspiracy theory for this podcast, my idea, what is really going on? There's no way to make sense of the absolute insanity of what the Israelis have done in the last century and more, and especially amped up to the last 30 years, but even more so from 2005 to today, and even more so the last couple of years. Although, the difference between the brutality in the early 20s, like 2021, when they killed Shireen Abu Akleh, 2018, when the Great March of Return, where they just shot at ankles and knees and, bet shekels. No, shekels is Yiddish. That's a good word. So, no, they bet Zionist money. I'm not going to say Jew money, because you can joke now about it. You can joke about Jews again, because Jews joke about Jews. Zionists, they joke about dead Palestinian babies. But the point I wanted to make, do you have any idea where I was going with that? Is that the only logic...
The final conspiracy theory.
Yeah, the final conspiracy theory is that the only way to make logical sense of the Zionist behavior is that they are committing mass suicide. That's the only thing that makes sense. Or, I guess I found another one. They realize that they are so hated, self-fulfilling prophecy, self-loathing, murderous cocksuckers. They you know, I think I need to finish this, so I'm going to be very quick about this. They know that the only way they can really survive is to kill everybody else. At least enough of them that the only ones remaining need their help and are kept in concentration camps. So, again, irony. Thank you. Pardcast number 1. Yeah, Corona Samizdat books, Dirk Huelstrunk. Look for, in the next couple of weeks, Poetry and Invective for Gaza. Thanks.